Welcome back, guys. Full time Reds. Welcome to a brand new show. Really excited about today's show. We've got so much to do that I've got to turn my bloody light on. Apologies about that. Really excited about today's show. Going to cover the Manuel Ugarte transfer speculation that broke today. We're going to look at Wan Bissaka and Lindelof potentially going to Everton, which is quite an interesting move. I'm going to look at Van Nistelrooy being added to Ten Hag's coaching setup and the new contract, and Zirkzee as well. If you've not subscribed, if you've not got involved, please do so. It means a lot. I am going to try doing these videos more often, and I really appreciate the views we get, the support. Very, very much appreciated. From next week, I'm going to try doing one of these kind of videos where I give my view, and one show on a Thursday, Friday, where we have a guest on and we can talk about Manchester United. Right, let's get started. Manuel Ugarte, which is a very interesting. It broke today, which was quite interesting. Somebody that nobody had on their radar as well. And I think this is quite interesting how Manchester United are moving in the market, and you can see what they're doing this year is compared to other years. Is they are how can I put it? Um, what we're doing is we're not going at one target at a time. So normally we try and sign Mason Mount. Once we got Mason Mount, we'll go after Onana. Once we get Onana, we'll go after Hoyland. There's multiple things going on at the same time, and this is quite interesting. And what we're going for is you can see that the talent that we're going after has been scouted, because it's not really on anyone's radar, bar people that understand and scout football. So it's not your typical kind of CDMs that we all know about, or you see. It's somebody that was a bit out of the box, somebody that we looked at last year as well, but we couldn't get over the line, and he went to PSG for like 60 million euros. I think what United are trying to do is, if they can get it as a loan with an obligation to buy or a loan with an option to buy, it's quite interesting. But I read this today that Bayern Munich are interested in him as well. He's a very good player, very dynamic. He's Uruguayan, so he'll be quite physical as well. The Premier League should suit him quite well, and I think he'll complement Kobe Mainu really well and help him evolve. But I think he won't be enough of a signing on his own. If we could get him and somebody else in there with him, then I think, you know what, we're on the right track. There's a lot of positions to fill at Manchester United, and I think realistically, if we could get 4 first team starters this window, it's a good start, and then that can get us up to January, and from there we can look at how we can move forward. But look, it's really interesting. It's good to see how we're moving, and one thing to keep an eye out is not a lot of people know what's going on. Usually by this time we would have been linked with so many players out there, but really it's being tight. Not much has come out. A lot of the big journalists or YouTubers that are usually connected with this kind of thing are not getting much either, which is really, really positive. We're moving in the background, we're moving quietly, we're moving positively. The thing for the fans are getting restless, nothing's going on. Like I always say, is it's best to analyze this and the window at the end when it shuts. It's too soon. Like at the moment, nothing's going on. We could do 2 signings in a week, and then suddenly we're the best thing ever. It goes up and down. People are very reactionary. Judge the window at the end, and that is the best way of moving, in my opinion. Coming on to the second bit of transfer news, which was Wan Bissaka and Lindelof potentially going to Everton. This is quite interesting, I thought, because I thought Lindelof and Wan Bissaka were going to Turkey, but I don't think that's happening now. Everton are looking at ways of getting Branthwaite out in a creative way where they can maybe replace him. Lindelof and Wan Bissaka would do really well at Everton. They would suit their system really well. But for us, it's making sure we get a fair value and not like getting rid of them two for like, 10 million euros or 10 million pound, because Wan Bissaka is only 24, 25, and in a defensive setup, he's very, very good. Lindelof is as good as anything they've got. And if Everton can get a replacement in where they don't have to go into the market and get Lindelof, it's not bad luck, in my opinion. I think it's a deal that can be done. I think it's a deal that we should be looking at, and it's a deal we should be doing more of, where we're going in for players and we're saying, look, we've got these players. Would you be interested in exchanging them? You're seeing that with other clubs at the moment, where they're being a bit creative, especially with creative financing and accounting with Villa and Chelsea and how they're operating in the market. overinflating prices, which is interesting. But I think Everton, if we can get that done, I think it's a great deal. But James Branthwaite is nowhere near, in my opinion, worth more than 50 million. Nowhere near. He's not even played Europe. Um, I think he's about as good as Delete, and I don't even rate Delete that highly. And the thing that worries me about Delete is he never lasts at a club more than 2 3 years. And usually in his last year, he doesn't play much at all, and they don't really fancy him. Um, he hasn't played much at Bayern under a coach like Tuchel, who I rate very highly. And obviously, Bayern are getting rid of him. They've only had him a year or two, and Juve only had him a year or 2 or 3 years. They paid a lot of money for him. That'll be an interesting one. But I think he's about as good as. I don't think he's any better than that, Branthwaite. I'm sure there's defenders out there. But look, we've got to trust the process. Sometimes we buy players that the fans don't rate and they end up being really good. So it's about trusting the guys that are in place, and hopefully that can get done. Moving on to Van der Man, Ruud van Nistelrooy. If you're old as me and you remember him, this guy was a deadly, deadly striker, one of the greats in the game. I think his stats are stupid, 1 goal every 2 games or something like that. What a player. Absolutely, what a player. Interesting that Ten Hag, I was reading this morning that he's close to signing a new contract, and as part of his deal would be that that Man United add some coaches to his team, and Van Nistelrooy being one of them. And very highly rated at PSV, left because he felt he wasn't backed enough. Put a lot of the work down for them to win the league this year. A lot of that was his team. Um, him being added is also gives Manchester United a good option in case Ten Hag starts off badly and then is not in, and we're in a position where we need to replace him. He could step in. But a good coach, an outside eye. I've seen some of his coaching sessions online. You can see him very, very tactical, very, very good. But most top players, ex top players, and especially Dutch players are very, very good at when they're talking about the game and how they see the game. It's just something that they have, and it's something as they view it, and the positional and the tactical view is phenomenal that they have. I think it'll be very, very interesting if we can get him to be part of the team. He gives an outside view. Um, I think a lot of fans are thinking he's going to solve a lot of the problems. I don't think he will. I think he's just a coach. At the end of the day, the ball will land with Ten Hag, who will probably become head coach and not manager, and which will put him in a position of not having much say in recruitment, which I think is fine. I think a lot of clubs work like that. And I think as fans, we need to get behind Ten Hag and really back him next season. Hopefully he gets off to a great start. Hopefully we have a great summer tour as well, and then we can move forward. But Van Nistelrooy to United looks like it might happen because he was going to go Burnley, but I think that won't happen now, and he comes to United, hopefully, and we can get him involved. And he's a great player. What's a player? I know we're not signing him as a player, but I just remember him as a player. Guy was a beast. Not happy how he left and went to Madrid, but we won't go into that and talk about that. Lastly, Zirkzee. I've got a feeling this is not going to happen. His agent is very famous. If anybody as old as me, like I said, remembers Carlos Tevez, he was the agent of Carlos Tevez and Mark Hughes at the time. I engineered Carlos Tevez out of Manchester United into Manchester City. He used to have a lot of influence at Arsenal as well. I just got a feeling that we're just probably being used, and he'll probably end up at Milan or somewhere else. We can't trigger his release clause until the 1st, which is Monday. Our new financial year starts on Monday as well, so hopefully we should have some pickup on that, and hopefully have some positives on that. But if we can get him in, great. It's a different profile to what we have, gives us a different direction, different way of operating, way of playing. And because last year we played with one striker, which was Rasmus Højlund, and Martial just did not fancy playing. Regarding outs, I think Greenwood would probably be the first one, Sancho would be the second one, Wan Bissaka, Lindelof, and if we could probably get rid of one more I think Casemiro's 50-50. Saudi are going a bit cold, but I just don't see how Casemiro and Sancho come back and go in pre-season, in my opinion. If we can get rid of them guys, I'm happy keeping Maguire and Scott McTominay. I think they give us something. And we can't replace everyone and get rid of everyone in one window. That's my view on it, guys. I'll be back on Thursday with a new Friday, with a podcast with a special guest. Keep supporting the channel. Keep showing your love. Much